You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
As long as the Matrix exists, the human race will never be free.
What is the Matrix? Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
No. I don't believe it. It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
I will not condone a course of action that will lead us to war.
A communications disruption can mean only one thing: invasion.
Welcome. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. And it's a podcast because, of course, I'm not live, but things are happening. I was watching the live feed from the Palestinian Authority over on the telegraph.co.uk and under the world news section, and it was live video. I don't know, you can find out how to get it, but I was watching it through there. And, the bombings have started over there. Israel is going after Hamas, which, of course, as we all know, is funded by the U.S. in some way, shape, or form. Just like Al-Qaeda, Taliban, al-Nusra, they're all funded by the American military industrial complex because of the fact that they want war. We want war. I mean, not we the people, not you and I, but the federal government of the, corporate-controlled Washington, D.C., and they're going to get it. Why? Because they get money. They get money for all their industrial endeavors. They get all kinds of things, as far as that's concerned. And when the U.S. goes to war, it's profitable. And it's the system that we have come to know and love, sarcastically speaking, has totally destroyed the principles of freedom and of security in this nation. We have completely been turned upside down, and there are people out there that say, no, this is just, it's just propaganda, blah, blah, blah. There's so many things that are wrong with this country. There is so many things wrong with the United States of America. And as far as I'm concerned, there is no longer a United States. In terms of people, in terms of we're all human beings, we're all part of a group, we all want peace, freedom, and security and liberty in this nation, but it seems that there are those who want it their way, and their way is to enslave those that are patriots, that are wanting liberty, freedom, and all of that, or security is a big word that they use in neuro-linguistic programming and also in propaganda, because, you got to give a little something up if you want security. And so they do that, and they've been doing that for a very long time, but really started nailing the coffin shut on liberty with the Patriot Act and the NDAA. So lots of things are going on today. I'm going to take a little break. I'll be right back. Go to the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page or to the Free America Radio Facebook page. You can go to the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com for more information as well. You can email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. I shall return right after this. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Free America Radio Network. Come join me on the Views Expressed live, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, on freeamericaradio.us. Listen to the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com.
Get ready.
Hey, you folks, this is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the Wayne S. Pierce Show. How are you? Things are going on all over the world with the border crisis, with another Malaysian airline, this time allegedly shot down. We've got Israel invading on the ground into Gaza. We are suffering greatly under this current regime. We have so much going on that at times it looks really good. In other words, okay, there's not that many problems. But you know what? When you look down at the foundation of it, when you look down and really examine what's going on, you'll see so many different problems and so many different cracks in the armor and so many things that are just absolutely going wrong everywhere. Okay? We see this. We understand this. We know this. Answers aren't all that simple, and no one answer is a one-size-fits-all either. So you have to look at that too, and you have to examine really where do you want to go? What do you want to do? How do you want to solve the issue, if you will? Well, the issue is the problems that we are facing. Okay? And we, just within ourselves, we know what the answer is. We have the answer. And the answers are really simple when you examine them. Okay? We just happen to have our ego involved, and we complicate that simplicity. Now, with two countries such as Palestine and Israel fighting, and have been fighting for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, is there ever going to be peace in the Middle East? Is there ever going to be a stoppage of war over there? Well, first of all, not unless the United States completely keeps their hands out of it. Okay? If the United States keeps their hands out of it, yes, there's going to be a stoppage of war in that area. But the more that the United States props up Israel, and the more that the Soviet Union or Russia continues to prop up Palestine, or help in that degree, there's always going to be a struggle, a war. Because once you take those two superpowers out, the United States and Russia, you take them out of the Middle East, guess what? There's going to be peace within like 10 years. That's just the way it is. Okay? And as far as I am concerned, as far as I know, as far as I can tell, there have always been presidents and prime ministers wanting peace in the Middle East. Now, why is that? Is there a golden ring on this merry-go-round that you're going to be grabbing, or they're going to be grabbing, to win the prize? As far as I can tell, when you look at the Middle East, when you look at the Palestinian country, and when you look at the Israeli country, and you look at just overall what is there, what is there that would benefit either side? And it literally is not a military stronghold anymore. It's more of an economic stronghold, because take a look at the resources that are there. Not only that are there particularly in Israel and Palestine, but look at the resources surrounding that whole area. And when you go look up the information as far as, thousands of years ago, what were the resources then? And when you look at the industrial age of the Middle East, what was the resources then? When you look at everything there is, you have to realize that it's much more than our mainstream media is ever telling you. And you have to, just within recent years, a couple of years ago, I heard that the military went over to Afghanistan and found a huge deposit of lithium. We're talking trillions of dollars worth of lithium as far as the raw material goes. So there's another reason why we are over there. Now, how are you going to stop all of this? Chances are you're not. Chances are it won't. And chances are this is going to continue long after you and I are far gone for many, many years. It is what it is. It's basically, no one really knows why these two are fighting. It's like, oh, you threw a rock at me. Oh, I throw a rock back at you. Oh, wait a minute. I got a sword. I think I'll go and, attack you with my sword. And then, somebody else comes up and attacks you. And, and pretty much that's what it started out as. Little disagreement, little ego hurt, somebody got butt hurt thousands of years ago and literally said, you no longer belong to me or whatever, and now you're my enemy. And that's pretty much how it was. They got the ego involved, they got their feelings hurt, and somebody went, piss off. And that's how the whole thing started. I mean, go look back at your biblical writers. I mean, this is how the whole thing started. And even if all of that is just totally bogus, then somebody told the story and somebody, said, well, that's not right. It's basically somebody getting pissed off at someone else. I mean, it's... Can I make it any plainer than that? It has nothing to do with, oh, my weapons are bigger, or, my flock is bigger, or, oh, you're just a dumb duty head. It's somebody got pissed off. I mean, and that's just the way it is. It's like, it was family, and it was, somebody got mad. And it's like you getting mad at one of your family members. And they go, well, screw you. I'm going to go do what I want and create my own traditions and create my own family. So, yeah, so that's basically, they thumb their nose at you and walk off. And I think in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think as far as what this whole situation is going on in Palestine and in Israel. They're meeting, the United Nations is meeting at this very moment in the Security Council, and the current member of the state of Palestine is speaking. And I just noticed that a little bit ago. And it is, to me, my perspective, incredibly odd. It's just me. It's just incredibly odd. Now, what's odd? Well, you got the United Nations, which is a form of a mafia, really, when you look at it. And a lot of people say, well, they're doing their best and they're trying to... You're dealing with egos. You're dealing with people who want things for themselves. You're dealing with people who want control. You're dealing with people who, are basically, well, borderline sociopaths. I've said it. There you go. Because when you really think about it, what has gone on in the Middle East for the last, I don't know, how many years? 5,000, 6,000 years? And how is it that the Christians, just within the last 2,500 years or so, have declared that Jerusalem is theirs? And the Muslims say Jerusalem is theirs. And the Jewish people say that Jerusalem is theirs. It all can't be yours. And it really comes down to this. You have to really, understand personal responsibility. And if you're mad at someone, you just don't go, lobbing, rockets over into their city. That's just stupid. You need to get together, shake hands, and go, what's the situation? What did I piss you off about? Now, yesterday on the Wayne S. Not Wayne S. Pure Show, but the Views Expressed, I mentioned the fact that Israel was firing rockets, and it was I didn't mean Israel was firing rockets into their own city and blowing it up. What I was meaning to say I need to correct myself, and that is Hamas has been firing rockets into their own city, into their own people, and blaming it on Israel. But that's also propaganda. So I don't know who to believe. The only thing I'm going to believe is whatever I can interpret for myself to be the most accurate and fair and truthful and honest reporting. And why not? I got to vet this stuff before I tell you about it. But if I am wrong, I will correct myself. I don't mind that. Now, going on to something else, go to Free America Radio on Facebook, and I'll fill you in on what's coming up on the Views Expressed today. Lots of things are happening, actually. And the thing that really the one thing that really stands out in my mind, sorry for the silence, I had to collect my thoughts, is the fact that everybody wants things their way. Interesting. And on top of that, somebody wants to follow somebody else to find out what they're doing. We don't want that happening in our town. You're not going to do that. That kind of thing. FreedomInfoNet.net. NSA stores 80% of all phone calls, not just metadata. Full audio. Yeah. Okay? Oh, by the way, on theblaze.com, this is not, a second-hand thing here, but on theblaze.com, Russia Today correspondent resigns over station's total disregard of facts surrounding crash. Okay. I got a meme up there that says that shows America 100 years ago or 101 years ago, and it says up until 1913, Americans kept 100% of their earnings. Despite this, America still had schools, colleges, roads, railroads, streets, subways, the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, who managed to win 8 wars and fight one, the War of 1812, to a draw. Tell me again, why do the American people need to be extorted? And that is literally the truth. Here it is. I said that. Here's my correction. Hamas aims for Israel, but its rockets hit Gaza over 100 times in 9 days. Hamas fires from civilian areas and hits its own people. 100 rockets fired from Gaza have fallen within Gaza. Okay. And that's just a meme that I have up there, and it's apparently from Israel Defense Force. Allegedly from them. So what kind of propaganda is there in that one? From immigrationreform.com. It says here from Federation of American Immigration Reform, because we got this big thing going on at the border, okay? Folks at the border, coming in. Sheriffs head to the border, not one, but sheriffs head to the border amidst a media blackout ordered by Obama administration. On Wednesday, a group of sheriffs arrived in McAllen, Texas to investigate the ongoing border crisis. The 7 sheriffs who came from the counties in Maryland, Massachusetts, Illinois, North Carolina, and Oregon are concerned about the potential impact and cost that the crisis will have in their own counties and states since the federal government is attempting to relocate illegal aliens throughout the country. Sheriff Sam Page from Rockingham County, North Carolina, described the trip as a fact-finding mission. WFMY News reported. The sheriff said, "This is a fact-finding mission and an opportunity to view the real problems of human trafficking, drug trafficking, and border security at Ground Zero itself." Sheriff Page is a co-vice chair of the National Sheriff's Association Border Security and Immigration Committee. When asked about his motivations for the trip, Sheriff Tim Hodgson, there we go, Hodgson, if I can say his name. Sheriff Tim Hodgson from Bristol County, Massachusetts said, quote, "I think law enforcement ought to speak out and talk about how this is impacting public health, about it's draining our resources for schools and medical services," unquote. Chief Deputy Tony Childress from Livingston County, Illinois, was motivated to join the trip after heroin from Mexico caused the death of his community last week. He told the Bloomington Pantagraph, quote, "This program allows me the opportunity to view the real problems of human trafficking, drug trafficking, and border security at Ground Zero itself. The situation gives drug cartels free rein, and we end up with more Mexican heroin on this side of the border. Those drugs make their way to central Illinois," unquote. During their time in McAllen area, the sheriffs will get a first-hand look at the border situation and meet with state and federal officials. The sheriffs will also press federal officials to take definitive steps to halt the influx by returning illegal aliens to their home countries. FAIR's field director, Susan Tully, is accompanying the sheriffs and noted that cameras were completely banned in all of the locations they visited. Quote, "They would not allow us to use our cameras anywhere today. The Obama administration has shut down all pictures in every facility that is controlled by the federal government," unquote. That right there, folks, is communism, period. End of sentence, done. It's communism. These sheriffs are trying to make sure that this country stays in the hands of Americans. Okay? And the Obama administration, I'm not even going to call it the federal government, the Obama administration is pulling out all the communist stops to stop people, you and I, to know what's going on in these facilities. They even stopped a congressman from going into one of the facilities. Okay? Do you get it now? Do you understand what's happening? Do you see where this is going? Can you understand? There's only two ways of dealing with this. Some people would say one. There's actually two. One, close the border. Period. Close it. Put 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 troops, National Guard troops, or returning veterans, or whoever that want America to be the United States as it is, as they put their hand on the Bible or put it up or whatever, they're Americans just like you and I. My emphasis is this. We need military personnel who are not afraid to stand up to the federal government and go to that border and close that border down, period. There's already Texas Rangers down there. There's constitutional civilian militia down there. In every state, there are other citizens down there making sure that the border is closed. We need to close the border. We need to close the border, period. End of sentence. John McCain is wrong. He has always been wrong. Him and his buddy Harry Reid can go off into the sunset. They need to retire. Okay? Now, what's the other solution? We need to take 535 congressmen and women and fire each and every single one of them. They all need to be gone. They need to go back into private practice. They don't need to be in Washington, D.C. What we need in Washington, D.C. is we need regular people, you and I. We need regular people, truck drivers, store owners, doctors, police officers, sheriff's officers, former military. We need them in Congress, period. We need the current batch of attorneys, and about 95% of them are attorneys. We need to get them all out. All of them. All of them. Okay? Currently, what is in Congress right now is a massive fustercluck, and it's causing cancer, figuratively speaking, and it's ruining everything. If we had constitutional people in Congress right now, this would have never happened. President Obama and Vice President Biden would be impeached. They would be gone. They would be in jail, period. But I don't think there's enough people out there that has the guts to even go do that. I don't think there's enough military out there to go to their Joint Chiefs of Staff and recommend certain things that would get this president out of office. Now I'm talking, does it sound like I'm talking about a military coup? Well, if that's what it takes. If that's what it takes. And this is exactly why the president and Congress and the military-industrial complex has more troops overseas than they do here in the United States. And the ones that are here in the United States, within the National Guard and other units as well, they're so limited by what they can do by order of their commanders or whoever, because their commanders were told, here's what you're going to do, and you're going to stick within this guideline right here. I could be wrong. I hope I am. But I know we have to do something, and we have to do something by any means necessary to get this country back to where we the people want it, with peace, freedom, liberty, and security. And a Congress that does what we want them to do. I'll be back right after this.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
It's time to take our republic back, folks. Brian Bonner, the Uncooperative Radio Show host, will tell you how. Join us for the ride of your life. Using humor and the facts, we will expose the news that the mainstream media refuses to report. The Constitution is the solution, and we can prove it. Listen in and find out what it means to be an uncooperative citizen of these United States. You can find our show at uncooperativerradio.com, and we are rebroadcast on redstatetalkradio.com.
What's on your mind? Chances are it's on their mind too. Check out Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Only on Spreaker.com.
For the best Southern, classic, and new rock, along with kicking country and R&B, check out Wildcat Radio for the Friday night party. The fun begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, with local, state, and national news from the Alabama News Network at the top and bottom of every hour. It's Wildcat Radio's Friday Night Party, a division of the Vulcan Internet Broadcast Company.
No elitist drivel, no media spin. Logic over emotion, fact over fiction. The home of independent conservative thought. The Conservative Voice with your host, Jeff Wagner, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I am wondering, why are you here?
Do or do not. There is no try. Do, there is no try. Do or do not. There is no try.
I am wondering, why are you here?
Welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show. I am yours truly. Okay, can I calm down? Can I just... During the break, I was just like, okay, this is happening, that's happening, oh my God. And I started getting a little, just getting a little pissed, okay? A lot of people don't understand just how this whole thing is going to explode into a massive fustercluck of people running around not knowing what the hell to do. Okay? And that's on the liberal side. On the conservative side, they're going to be standing there laughing, going, see, we told you. But I'm neither one, so it doesn't really matter to me. I'm neither conservative nor liberal. I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm not independent, I'm not libertarian, I'm more libertarian. I'll correct myself. I'm more libertarian than anything else. I'm the type of libertarian that would say, get the hell out of my life, and I'm going to keep my stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm going to keep 100% of all the money I earn. Hey, we did that prior to 1913, didn't we? I'm not going to give our federal government any of my money because they're going to go off and occupy a country to steal their resources. Yes, I said it. Want to prove me wrong? Go ahead. Now, I'm also the libertarian that says I believe in term limits. Don't even label me as a libertarian. I believe in term limits. 6 years, period, end of sentence. If you want to run for re-election, you got to wait. You should wait a mandatory 4 years before you run for re-election. Okay? Midterm elections? Nope. Won't have them. But what about you? Nope. You run on your platform. If you win, you go to Washington, D.C. And, oh, by the way, you only meet in Washington, D.C. 4 times a year. And if you can't get your work done within the time frame that you're there, which is anywhere between 30 to 45 days, then guess what? You always got another session to go to. But you have 6 years to get it done. Well, that's not good because we have... I don't want to hear it. You show me a better way of conducting the country's business, and I'll go for it. Because I'm not going to spend my money and I'm not going to give my money to Washington, D.C. that wants nothing to do with peace, freedom, liberty, and security for this nation. Okay? I'm not going to vote or campaign for any politician who, number one, doesn't stand on the Constitution prior to 1871, number two, doesn't want to get rid of the corporate contributions to political parties in Washington, D.C., and number three, secure the damn borders. I'm in the middle, folks. I'm nonpartisan because none of the parties know what the hell they're doing. And besides, when you look at the Libertarian Party that currently is in play right now, because there's a lot of people coming out, but I can also say that probably about, I don't know how many people there are that are running for midterm elections or 2016 elections in the Libertarian Party. I have no idea how many there are, but I would venture a guess and say probably about 35% of them are Libertarian in name only. And besides that, here's another caveat for that little thing. Even though they get, I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat, whatever, it doesn't really matter. When they go to Washington, D.C., they get sucked up into the machine. They become a cog in the wheel, and whatever they promised you they were going to do, they're not going to do because the system is going to stop them from doing it, period. You're the person you voted to go to Washington, D.C. for you has become a huge, massive liability to your state, because of their involvement with the machinations of Washington, D.C. And besides, how many of those politicians, those 535 congressmen and women up there in Washington, D.C., how many of them have, let's just say, I'm sure that somebody or a group of somebody somewhere has a whole lot of dirty laundry on 535 people in Washington, D.C. I'm sure of it. And that's why when they say, when I go to Washington, D.C., I'm going to do this for my state, and it never gets done. I wonder why. I wonder why. It's just, I don't know. There are times, though, folks, that the insanity from Washington, D.C. never ceases to amaze me. We have Harry Reid, who is a total traitor to the United States, and yes, I said it. What are you going to do about it? But most of them are anyway. We have people in California that are totally dumbfounded as to why the current governance over there, or the current body of politicians, don't get this stupid moron Jerry Brown out of office. Okay? I don't know. I also don't really agree with a lot of people, but you know what? They have a First Amendment right to say what they say, and I'll stand there and protect them. Because I have a Second Amendment right to do just that. But some of the laws on the books are so stupid that it's a wonder that we can even get anything done. California is the most overregulated, litigious state in the nation. The people are litigious, and I'm sure California has sued other countries or other states as well, but we don't know about those. It's just amazing. Okay. California couple faces fine for brown lawn after complying with water-saving rules. Can you say double standard, folks? From Los Angeles, Laura Whitney and her husband, Michael Corte, don't know whether they're being good citizens during a drought or scofflaws. On the same day, the state approved mandatory outdoor watering restrictions and the threat of a $500 fines. The Southern California couple received a letter from their city threatening a $500 penalty for not watering their brown lawn. It's brown because of their conservation, which besides a twice-a-week lawn watering regimen, includes shorter showers and larger loads of laundry. They're encouraged by the state's new drought-busting public service slogan, "Brown is the new green." The city of Glendora sees it differently. Quote, "Despite the water conservation efforts, we wish to remind you that limited watering is still required to keep landscaping looking healthy and green," says a letter, which gives Corte and Whitney 60 days to restore their lawn. They're among residents caught in the middle of a conflicting government messages as a need of conservation clashes with the need to preserve attractive neighborhoods. Quote, "My friends in Los Angeles got these letters warning they could be fined if they water, and I got a letter warning that that I could be fined for not watering," unquote. Whitney said, quote, "I felt like I was in an alternate universe," unquote. Despite the drought, Californians have increased their water use by 1% in May compared with previous years, according to a state survey of water providers. To combat perceived complacency, the State Water Board voted this week to require water agencies to adopt emergency drought plans and authorized fines of up to $500 a day for water wasters. The board's chairwoman, Felicia Marcus, said, quote, "A brown lawn should be a badge of honor because it shows you care about your community," unquote. But several homeowners are reporting that a dried-up lawn instead attracts the wrath of their community. Homeowners associations can't punish residents for scaling back on landscape under an executive order signed by Governor Jerry Brown in May and a bill awaiting his signature. While both measures are silent on fines imposed on local governments, the governor's office condemned moves that punish drought-conscious Californians. Quote, "These efforts to conserve should not be undermined by the short-sighted actions of a few local jurisdictions who chose to ignore the statewide crisis we face, the farmers and farm workers losing their livelihoods, the communities facing drinking water shortages, and the state's shrinking reservoirs," unquote, said Amy Norris, a spokeswoman for the California Environmental Protection Agency, in a written statement. Local officials say conserving water and maintaining healthy landscaping are not mutually exclusive goals. They caution that even in times of water shortages, residents shouldn't have free rein to drive down property values, and they can use drought-resistant landscaping or turf removal programs to meet local standards. Quote, "During a drought or non-drought, residents have the right to maintain their landscaping the way they want, so as long as it's aesthetically pleasing and it's not blighted," unquote, said Al Baker, president of the California Association of Code Enforcement Officers. Anaheim resident Sandra Tran, 47, said she started installing drought-resistant landscaping after receiving violation notices from Orange County Public Works. She spent more than $600 on the changes as the agency mandated she water and maintain her yard in a healthy green condition. Yet, as Tran drives home from work, she sees signs flashing on the freeway urging her to conserve water. Quote, "It's almost crazy because one agency is telling you one thing and another is forcing you to do the opposite," unquote, she said. Democratic Assemblywoman Cheryl Brown introduced a bill that would have prohibited local governments from imposing fines, but she dropped AB 1636 after cities in her district promised to penalize homeowners for brown lawns during a drought emergency. Brown was shocked when she heard the practice continued elsewhere in the state, and she said she would consider reviving her bill in 2015. Quote, "It seems to me those cities aren't using common sense," unquote, Brown said. "It's too bad you need a law," unquote. Well, yeah, it is too bad you need a law. You have to water the lawn to make it look green. If the city says that you're using too much water, then the city should come along with the trucks and water my lawn. Of course, that's an impossibility. Of course, when you look at the different things that are going on in your cities, and you examine your city council's proposals, and not only that, you examine your state proposals for any type of control over you and what you do, you should start questioning the credibility and integrity of your politicians you voted into office. Shouldn't you? And besides that, what's your state constitution say? Doesn't say anything about water, does it? I don't know. I mean, I'm a former Californian. I was born and raised there. I had to leave because the writing was on the wall that California is nothing more than a police state. Well, so is the rest of the United States. But California is worse because they're overregulated. They have government overreach. The cities basically are told by the state, this is what you're going to do. And if you do it, we'll give you some, we'll give you some money for some projects. If you don't do it, forget the money. Can you say bribes? Oh, they're all over in California. I mean, pick a city, including Sacramento, but they're all over the place. We have to understand one thing. We do what we do. We know how to take care of ourselves. We know how to do the things we need to do to get by and survive. The city, the state, the county, the federal government does not know any of that, but is going to continue to number one, believe it, and number two, tell you what you have to do. Well, guess what? We need to get the government, I don't care if it's your city council or county board of supervisors, we need to get the government out of our business, and we need to repeal all rules and regulations that have been deemed to be overregulated and an overreach from the states. That's what we need to do. And it's not that difficult either. Okay? It's not that difficult. All right? Now, when you see the things going on around you, not only on the micro level, the macro level in your city, but look around the world and ask yourself this question. What's happening and how is it affecting me? I mean, think about that. How is this current crisis in the Middle East affecting you? Well, it's going to affect you, maybe not today, tomorrow, or next week. It's going to affect you down the line with higher gas prices and all this, that, and the other thing. And, when you look at how that does affect you, okay, that takes money out of your pocket. I noticed a lot of people, I say a lot, but I'm lumping a whole lot of conditions into this. I've noticed that there are a lot of people, who drive to work normally. They're taking the bus. They may drive to work once or twice a week, but they're taking the bus the rest of the time. Why? Saves on gas, puts money in their pocket. For as much money, now calculate this out even in your own cities that have bus routes. How much money do you put in your tank every 2 weeks? And do you fill it up? I mean, if you're down to a quarter tank, do you put 10 in? Do you just get it to a half a tank? Do you calculate it out to where you give yourself 3/4 of a tank? Do you calculate it out to where that's going to last you till next payday if you don't do this and you don't do that? Well, how about filling the car up, going to work, driving to work maybe once or twice a week, and taking the bus the rest of the time? Calculate out how much bus fare is compared to how much gas you're putting in your car. How much it's costing you to put gas in your car every week or every other week. If you fill it up, I don't think there's really going to be a difference. But if you're constantly having, 3 or 4 days after you, because you got to go shopping, you got to take the kids here, you got to do this, of course you're going to be running out of gas by the end of the week, right? So calculate that out. See how much that is and see how much you're saving when you hop a bus to work. Oh, I don't take buses. Well, it's going to take you a hell of a long time to walk, isn't it? Think about it, though. Think about it. This whole issue with what's happening in the Middle East and how this president pretty much dissed Israel and Saudi Arabia and is catering more to Muslim countries, that right there should be a treasonous act. That you're doing things with known enemies of the United States and our allies. The best example of getting together with people and at least discussing things was when President Roosevelt and the German Chancellor and the Russian president many years ago got together, and it was right after the New Deal. Is that what it was? Was that whole issue? I think I got to go back and look at my history, but it really brings this whole thing into view. That you right there listening to this can make a difference. You can make a difference. You can go out, even if it's by yourself, on an overpass with a bunch of little, American flags. You can go and make a difference. If one person sees you on an overpass, or if one person sees you downtown protesting something, whatever it is you're protesting, that gives you the opportunity to ask them, or to be asked, or when you're asked, it gives you an opportunity to tell them what you're protesting. You can also go to an overpass or downtown or wherever and call your friends and go, hey, I'm over here protesting this. You want to come on down? Because then you get other people, because obviously your friends know other people and that kind of thing. But you listening to this right now can make a difference. You can make a difference in the smallest way. What am I doing with this podcast? I am helping you understand what's going on if you don't, or if you're confused in some areas, or if you don't know what's going on. I'm here to tell you about it. But you can make a difference. A group of people standing on an overpass today and tomorrow makes a difference. A group of people standing downtown with signs over their head protesting what's going on in Washington, D.C. and at the border and everything else can make a difference. But you do it peacefully. You do it peacefully. You do it militant, non-resistant protest. And when you go out there, hold the Constitution with you. Have a pocket Constitution. Hold the Constitution with you. And you tell them, I have a First Amendment right to be out here, to assemble peacefully here. And this is I'm petitioning the government with a redress of grievances. And this is it. And a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people, I don't want to go protest because I might get arrested and thrown in jail. Well, hey, that's a notch on your flagpole, isn't it? It's not about how many times you get arrested. It's about your involvement in this process. It's not about how many times you can get your face on the news. It's about what the goal is within defending your freedoms and liberties. It's not about you, per se. It's about the people around you, the ones that you love, the ones that you cherish, the ones that you know, your friends, your coworkers. It's about your state. It's about your county, your city, your neighborhood. Even if you and 5 or 6 or 10 or 15 other people go out in a corner in your neighborhood, just pick a corner, I don't care, and you protest the fact that you got gang members in your neighborhood tearing crap up, that's going to make a difference. That happened back in, I think it was Philadelphia several years ago, where a mother there was a park like a block down the street from where she lived, and she couldn't take her kids over there to play in the park because there were drug deals going on. There were gang members all over the place. So she got a bunch of neighbors together over a period of time, and they all went over there and pushed them out of the neighborhood and started protesting and going over there and literally told them, leave the park. Well, they not only left the park, they left the neighborhood. So that's what we need to do. Not only be proactive, but we need to be active. And the more active we are, the more things change. So we have to think about that one too. New York, speaking of of being active, New York is now trying to tax those people using Bitcoin or something of that nature. They're trying to get their hands in on the pie of alternative or cyber currency or some type of electronic currency like that. See, I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. Somebody was somewhere going to say, well, we need to get our fingers in this pie because look at that. Look at how much that's worth. Some idiot somewhere is trying to get his fingers in your alternative currency. So, you better shut that door real damn quick and force these people to stay the hell out of your life. You need the alternative currency, the cyber currency, and we're going to use it. And that's just the way it is. And if the feds don't like it, kiss my ass. The feds have no constitutional right to come into my life, your life, or anybody else's life to tell us what to use in our business. Period. A lot of people might get all upset about that, but I don't care. The federal government, Washington, D.C., and all of them moron criminals up there have no right to tell us what to do. Period. Hey, Mr. Politician in Washington, D.C., you don't like that? You think I'm extremist? I'm an extremist to the sense that I want peace, freedom, security, and liberty in this nation. And if all you want is a Marxist, fascist, communist type of ideology in this country, how about packing your ass up and getting to Russia where you belong? You might want to talk to President Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin would love your citizenship. Bye-bye. Enjoy. Hey, come join me on the Views Express Live today, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern at freeamericaradio.us. Want to email me? Please do. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Talk to you later.